Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today.
Yes, welcome everyone.
We're going to unlock the secrets to Millionaire Success Habits using Dean Graziosi's book
That's right.
as our guide for this deep dive.
Uh-huh.
We'll uncover some really interesting stuff like
Yeah.
how sweeping floors actually helped launch a billionaire's career.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Also, get ready to rethink the way you approach your weaknesses.
Yeah, for sure.
And buckle up because we're going to get a fresh perspective on setbacks with what Graziosi calls the success tax.
That's right.
It's a really interesting concept.
I think that floor sweeping story is so interesting. It's about John Paul DeJoria,
Oh, yeah.
co-founder of Paul Mitchell.
Wow.
What's interesting is that Graziosi uses this story and other examples to show that success,
Right.
it isn't about some magic formula. It's really about developing the right habits.
I see.
Just like a chef perfecting a recipe.
So we can actually learn those habits from people who've already made it,
Exactly.
like a blueprint for success.
That's right.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. Graziosi believes that we don't have to start from scratch.
Okay.
We can learn from those who've already walked the path
Yeah.
and get similar results.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's dive into some of these habits.
Right.
Graziosi talks about the importance of having a strong why.
Yes.
He shares his own personal why, which is all about creating choices for his kids
Right.
that he didn't have growing up.
That idea of why is about having that deep emotional reason
Yeah.
that fuels your actions and fuels you to take action.
Right.
When you hit those inevitable roadblocks, it's your why that keeps you going.
It's that fire in your belly.
That's right.
What about you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's the driving force
Yeah.
behind your desire for success?
That is such a great question. And
Yeah.
it's different for everyone.
Right.
But once you find that driving force,
Uh-huh.
it clarifies your decisions and actions.
Yeah,
It shapes your journey.
absolutely. This next concept really grabbed my attention.
Okay, what's that?
The inner villain.
Oh, yeah.
That voice of self-doubt we all have holding us back.
And Graziosi highlights how focusing on our weaknesses just makes that villain stronger.
Yes.
It eats away at our confidence.
Yeah.
He even shares a story about how editors wanted to change his writing style.
Wow.
In his first book, Totally Fulfilled,
Uh-huh.
but he stuck to his guns.
He refused to let that inner critic win.
Absolutely.
It makes you think, how often do we focus on what we're not good at instead of
Right.
what we are good at?
We get stuck trying to fix everything we see as wrong
Uh-huh.
instead of getting really good
Yes.
at what we already excel in.
Right.
Graziosi calls it building your good at list and playing to your strengths.
I love that idea.
Me too.
Speaking of building ourselves up,
Okay.
the book dives into how our words shape our reality.
Yes.
He talks about his friend Joel Weldon,
Oh, yeah.
who always greets everyone with an enthusiastic, fantastic.
What's fascinating about that is how those words affect not just others, but Joel himself.
Wow.
It's like he's programming himself for success with his language.
I see.
Think about the words you use every day. Are they lifting you up or holding you back?
It's a subtle shift, but so important.
It really is.
It's not just our inner voice, though, right?
Right.
Graziosi talks about surrounding yourself with battery chargers
Yeah.
instead of battery drainers, an idea he got from Joe Polish.
Right. Those battery chargers are the people who inspire and energize you.
Okay.
Battery drainers, on the other hand,
Uh-huh.
leave you feeling drained and negative.
Yeah.
Graziosi argues that your environment, the people you choose to be around,
Uh-huh.
can have a massive impact on your success.
Okay, so it's like choosing the right ingredients for success.
Yes.
Just like in that chef analogy we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
And this brings us to another interesting concept, the money compounder, which
Yeah.
is all about attraction and persuasion.
Now, you might be thinking,
Right.
wait, isn't that just marketing and sales?
Right.
But
Yeah.
Graziosi reframes these ideas.
Yeah. I see.
He sees marketing as attracting what you want
Okay.
and repelling what you don't,
Okay.
while selling is about getting people invested in taking action that improves their lives.
He even has a great story about a car salesman
Oh, yeah?
who takes the time to really understand the customer's needs
Uh-huh.
before even mentioning a sale.
It highlights how genuine connection and empathy
Mm-hmm.
are at the heart of effective persuasion.
Yeah.
It's not about pushing your agenda, but understanding the other person
Uh-huh.
and finding a solution that benefits everyone.
I like that approach. It feels much more authentic and sustainable.
I agree.
It reminds me of what we discussed earlier about building that good at list.
Yes.
It seems Graziosi is all about focusing on genuine strengths. It's both our own and those of the people we want to connect with.
That's a great observation. And it leads us to what happens after that initial connection, that sale. Graziosi talks about camping out in the minds of your clients.
Yeah.
Being attuned to their needs and fears long term.
This contrasts with that very transactional approach
Yeah.
many businesses take,
Right?
leading to disconnection and losing loyal customers.
Exactly. It's about building long-term, mutually beneficial relationships
Okay.
based on trust.
Right.
He even suggests writing a heartfelt thank you letter to someone who has impacted your life.
Wow.
A simple act.
Yeah.
But it reinforces that sense of connection and gratitude.
That's a great challenge for our listeners. And speaking of feeling good,
Yes.
Graziosi dedicates a whole section to cultivating happiness, which he sees as a foundation for success.
He offers some really practical happiness habits, like letting go of specific outcomes.
Yeah.
He uses the analogy of ordering steak at a restaurant but being served chicken.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right.
Life doesn't always go according to plan.
Yeah.
We've got to learn to embrace those detours
Exactly.
and find the joy in the journey.
He also talks about the trap of the when-then mentality,
Oh, yeah.
waiting to be happy when we achieve that next goal.
Graziosi pushes us to ditch that and find happiness in the present moment.
So crucial, especially in today's go-go-go world.
It really is.
We can get so caught up in the hustle that we forget to enjoy the simple things.
That's so true.
What are some happiness habits that you practice?
Well, I'm a big believer in gratitude.
Yeah.
Starting the day with gratitude is huge for me.
Oh, yeah.
It sets a positive tone and reminds me of what's important.
I like that.
But, let's get back to Graziosi.
Yes.
He doesn't just focus on mindset.
Yeah.
He ties these happiness habits
Right.
to achieving real-world success,
That makes sense. He actually talks about inner wealth, which is
Yeah.
more than just money.
right? It's about happiness fulfillment,
Uh-huh.
a life aligned with your values.
Yeah.
And a key part of that is, like we were saying, cultivating happiness.
Yeah.
Graziosi dives into practical habits to make that happen.
Right.
Not just positive thinking,
Okay.
but real choices that impact our well-being.
I remember him talking about letting go of grudges. He uses this powerful image of having to explain to a higher power
Yeah.
why you haven't reached your goals because of some past hurt.
That image really hits home.
Yeah.
We often cling to resentment, but it only weighs us down.
Right.
It's self-sabotage.
For sure.
Graziosi reminds us that forgiveness of ourselves and others is essential for growth.
It's like clearing out mental clutter to make space for positive energy
Yes.
and new possibilities.
And along those lines, he also talks about gratitude, right?
Well, yeah,
Appreciating what we have now.
absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing.
It is.
But Graziosi reminds us that there's always something to be thankful for.
Right?
He even shares how he teaches his kids gratitude by involving them in helping those less fortunate.
That's a great example of how gratitude can lead to positive action.
And I think that ties back to the idea of inner wealth.
Uh-huh.
It's not just about what we accumulate,
Right.
but how we contribute and connect with something larger than ourselves.
Exactly. And while inner wealth is crucial, Graziosi doesn't shy away from the importance of financial security as well.
Right.
He acknowledges that money, while not everything, can provide freedom to pursue your passions.
He has some interesting advice on building that financial stability.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him talking about scared money not making money.
It's that fear-based mindset
Yeah.
that can actually hold us back from making smart financial decisions.
Right.
When we operate from scarcity, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's true.
But a solid financial base allows us to take calculated risks
Mm-hmm.
and invest in our dreams.
It's about creating options and opportunities.
Exactly.
This idea of stepping up and creating opportunity connects to another point Graziosi makes,
Okay.
giving your best effort even in situations you might not love.
Oh, yeah.
He uses the example of working at his dad's collision shop, a job he disliked.
But he chose to approach that job with 100% effort,
Wow.
realizing the habits he built there would benefit him later.
Uh-huh.
It's a reminder that even seemingly mundane tasks
Eh.
can be opportunities for growth.
I see.
We can hone our discipline, resilience,
Yeah.
and commitment to excellence.
And as it turns out, his dedication in that job actually led to his first big real estate deal years later.
That's awesome.
Someone was impressed by his work ethic and gave him a shot.
I love that.
It shows how opportunity often comes from showing up and doing your best, even when it's not glamorous.
It's like planting seeds.
Yeah,
You never know which ones will sprout, so plant them all with care.
I love that analogy.
This brings us to another key theme, productivity.
Okay.
In today's world of endless distractions, how do we make the most of our time?
That's a good question.
Graziosi has some insightful thoughts on that.
He's not just talking about being busy, right?
Right.
He focuses on being productive in a way that aligns with our goals and values.
Exactly. He wants us to critically assess how we're spending our time
Okay.
by asking 3 questions.
Okay.
Does this activity contribute to my happiness and well-being? Is it aligned with my values and the legacy I want to build?
Okay.
And is this making me money or preventing me from reaching my next level?
Those are powerful questions.
They are.
That really force us to confront how we're prioritizing our time and energy.
Absolutely.
It can be easy to fall into the trap of busyness without really moving towards what we want.
He also talks about a major obstacle to productivity,
Okay.
overthinking and analysis paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
Graziosi is a big proponent of trusting your gut and taking action even when you don't have all the answers.
Right.
Learn and adjust as you go.
That reminds me of his 90-day sprint framework.
Yes.
It's a great tool to break down goals into manageable steps and create that momentum.
Right.
He talks about focusing on the impact of tasks,
Uh-huh.
eliminating distractions,
Yes.
and scheduling dedicated work time.
It's about creating that ideal environment for focused work.
I see.
And one thing that can help is chunking down large tasks.
Okay.
He uses the example of real estate investing,
Yeah.
which can feel daunting at first.
Yeah.
But he breaks it down into those core elements: finding deals, making offers, connecting with buyers.
Right.
Suddenly, the whole process becomes much less intimidating.
That's a good point.
It's about focusing on one bite at a time,
I like that.
right? And to keep that momentum going,
Okay.
Graziosi is a big fan of deadlines. He argues that successful people thrive under that pressure of a clear time frame for achieving a goal.
He also reminds us to celebrate our wins,
Oh, yes.
which is something we often forget in that constant pursuit of the next milestone.
That's true.
Taking a moment to acknowledge those wins is essential for staying motivated and building confidence.
Those celebrations can be small.
Right?
Even just reflecting on what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your progress and allowing yourself to feel that sense of pride.
And this leads us to a topic that Graziosi addresses with surprising depth: worry.
He doesn't sugarcoat it. He calls worry self-imposed suffering,
Wow.
a mental prison that steals our joy and potential.
And he wants us to confront the true cost of our worries, the impact on our health, relationships, and overall well-being.
Right.
He even suggests writing down those costs to make them tangible.
It's about facing those worries head on
Yeah.
and then shifting our focus from problems to solutions.
So instead of asking, why me, we
Right.
can ask, what can I do about it?
That shift is all about empowerment,
Yeah.
and it ties back to the success tax idea.
Okay.
Those external challenges we face
Uh-huh.
are often amplified by our internal worries and anxieties.
So it's not just about overcoming external obstacles,
Right.
but also conquering that internal resistance.
Exactly. And we have the power to choose.
Wow.
We can let those worries control us, or we can confront them,
Uh-huh.
learn from them, and use them as fuel for growth.
That's powerful.
And that's a powerful message as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
It's amazing how throughout the book, Graziosi weaves these powerful mindset shifts into practical advice. Speaking of mindset, one of the most impactful ideas he introduces is the success tax.
It's brilliant how he reframes those setbacks and challenges, not as failures, but as the cost of growth. Think about it. People who achieve great things rarely have an easy path.
Right.
They've learned to navigate those rough patches, pull out the valuable lessons, and come out stronger.
It's like paying taxes. We may not like it,
Yeah.
but we know it's essential for things to function. Graziosi argues the success tax is what we pay for entering that arena of possibilities, for pushing ourselves beyond comfort zones and chasing our dreams.
He even ties us back to Tony Robbins' idea that change can happen in an instant. The moment we decide to stop viewing setbacks as defeats and start seeing them as opportunities,
Right.
that's when the real shift occurs.
So it's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances.
Yeah.
It's an internal decision to view challenges as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Exactly. And Graziosi encourages us to look back on our own lives,
Okay.
identify those tough times, those personal hell moments, and consider what we learned, how we grew, what strengths we developed as a result.
He even suggests writing those experiences down to really reflect on them.
Yeah.
It's about transforming those painful memories into fuel for growth, recognizing our own resilience and wisdom gained through those trials.
It reframes our whole relationship with failure. Instead of fearing it, we can see it as part of the learning process, a necessary step on the path to success.
And Graziosi makes it clear that everyone pays the success tax, even those who seem like overnight successes. Behind those stories are years of hard work, dedication, and tons of setbacks overcome.
It's a good reminder to focus on our own progress, celebrate each win, and stop comparing our journey to others.
It's about recognizing that the success tax is an investment in our growth, our resilience, our ability to achieve extraordinary things. This has been such an insightful deep dive. Any final takeaways from the book that really stuck with you?
One thing that resonated with me was Graziosi's emphasis on finding your unique ability, that special skill or talent that sets you apart. He uses this image of a target with concentric circles. The bullseye is your unique ability, the thing you're truly passionate about and excel at.
Then the outer rings are things you're good at, okay at, and things you just plain stink at. He's saying we need to invest our time in that center ring, honing our unique ability, using it to create value in the world.
He even suggests making a not-to-do list, cutting out those energy-draining activities that keep us from our real strengths.
Yeah.
It's about intentional choices, prioritizing what aligns with our unique ability.
This has been such an inspiring conversation. So as we wrap up, remember, success isn't just about money or status. It's about living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. A life aligned with your values that makes a positive impact on the world.
Embrace the challenges, celebrate the victories, and never stop becoming the best version of yourself. And if you're looking for more wisdom on this journey, definitely check out Dean Graziosi's Millionaire Success Habits.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you in the next one.